Headlines. 5 more victims of AK9 Kaduna-Abuja train regain freedom on Tuesday. NDLEA burst clandestine methamphetamine production lab in Lagos and Anambra. Presidency to intervene in CBN and MPC feud over dollar remittance. And on the foreign scene, Russia declares Ukraine's Azov regiment as terrorists. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the details. 5 victims of the Kaduna-Abuja train attack on Tuesday regained freedom. Those released are Professor Mustafa Omar Imam, Aikibu Lawal, Abubakar Ahmad Rufai, Mukhtar Shaibu and CD Aminu Sharif. Daily Trust is reporting that Kaduna-based publisher Tukur Mamu, who voluntarily engaged in negotiating the release of the victims but backed out due to threats to his life, has confirmed their release. Meanwhile, villagers in Damari town under Kazagi ward in eastern part of Birnungwari local government area of Kaduna State are fleeing their homes en masse due to insecurity in the area. The villagers recently came under constant attacks by bandits that besieged the farming community. Those displaced were mostly women, children and adults and have relocated to Dogandawa, Gwanda town and Ungwargajere in Zaria. Muhammad Yaba gives us an update on the situation. All right, we'll bring you that subsequently. Now, in the past 7 years, kidnapped victims, especially in insecurity-prone local government areas of Katsina State, have been forced to secure their freedom by paying ransoms. But the question many are not asking is how does the payment of ransom affect the economic well-being of the victims? And most importantly, how has life been after the payment of the ransoms? Now, from the hands of terrorists, and we will be able to bring you how these victims are faring subsequently. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Ghali Baba, has allayed fears of residents in the Federal Capital Territory and its environs concerning the recent perceived security threats. To this end, he ordered massive deployment of additional police operatives and operational assets within the Federal Capital Territory and its environs. The deployment, according to the IGP, is to solidify the security and protection of lives and property of residents, critical national assets, and vulnerable facilities, as well as road users plying routes in and around the FCT. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi said the IGP gave the charge during the Force Management Team's meeting at his office on Monday, where he received general security updates on the nation. He has equally charged the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Department of Operations, Bala Senchi, to supervise and manage the deployment to ensure maximum security in the FCT, as well as surrounding states, with a high risk of attacks resonating from the threats being speculated on the news. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has busted and dismantled 2 major laboratories in Lagos and Anambra State where crystal meth were produced for distribution across Nigeria and export. Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, NDLEA, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, disclosed this on Tuesday when he addressed the media on the development. According to a statement by the Director, Media and Advocacy of the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, Marwa said the arrest followed complaints from several communities in the region due to the devastating effects the distribution and abuse of the dangerous stimulant drug were having on their youth and others. The CEO said while efforts in the past 7 months against the cartel behind methamphetamine scourge have led to the arrest of 4 kingpins and a cook, the agency has again arrested 2 barons and another cook. Meanwhile, Nigerian students have been reacting to the extension of the strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, by another 4 weeks. Musa Luka reports that the extension is seen by some students as an act of insensitivity by the federal government and the union to the plight of students.
News of the 4-week extension broke on Monday after 5 months of the action, which began on 14 February this year. President of the union, Emmanuel Oshodeke, who disclosed this via a statement on Monday, said the decision was to give the government enough time to resolve all outstanding issues with the lecturers. The prolonged strike has made some students look for part-time jobs as alternatives, while others remain idle. Some students residing within Abuja told Trust TV what they have been doing since the beginning of the strike.
Yeah, I'm currently doing video editing though, but that's not what I signed up for. It's due to this ASUU strike. I had to get into that. It's not fair.
This strike isn't really affecting me, but it's quite disturbing because I'm a final year student and just few signatures left and I should be a graduate, and I don't know why I should still be at home by this time doing nothing. Okay, apart from the work that I'm doing, if I don't have a job, what of others that don't have a job? What would they be doing in their houses? Like people like us that are final year students, what should we be doing? Just sitting down doing nothing.
Some parents lamented the impact of the strike on their budget and expressed the hope that the strike will be called off soon.
It affects us parents very much because by now my children are supposed to have graduated, but three of them are still at home since two supposed to graduate last year, and due to all this incessant strike here and there of ASUU. And there is nothing we can do. We cannot fight government, but it's very unfortunate for what we are experiencing in our country.
The ASUU strike is affecting the whole region, precisely as in a taxi. Like my junior one in school, they have been abandoned in the village. They have been abandoned there. Nothing for them, no school, nothing. I mean, so it's also affecting us that sponsor them, believing that okay, with so time I think we might have done with this one, and then know one or two things to forge ahead with.
Many believe that the heightened insecurity in the country may not be unconnected to the strike, as the many idle hands of Nigerian youth may just have been employed, albeit negatively. Musa Luka, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And to health matters now, where a Nigerian has tested positive for monkeypox in Delhi, the Indian capital. His case brought the total number of infected people in the Asian country to 6. According to Indian officials, the 35-year-old, who is now in a government hospital, is a Delhi resident and has no recent international travel history. The World Health Organization recently declared the monkeypox virus a global health emergency. And to politics now, where the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party will meet on Wednesday as part of efforts to appease River State Governor Nyesom Wike ahead of the 2023 general elections. Wike, who held a meeting with some PDP governors on Sunday, has expressed dissatisfaction with how the party chose its vice presidential candidate, among other issues. In a statement on Monday, chairman of the PDP Board of Trustees, Walid Jibril, said the PDP is not in a crisis but needs to settle certain grievances. Meanwhile, governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party in River State, Senator Magnus Abe, says his choice by the party to fly its ticket at the 2023 contest is similar to opening a closed political space to provide people an alternative platform. Abe speaking during a visit to the SDP National Secretariat in Abuja. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
Until recently was a member of the All Progressives Congress, APC. He left the party after its governorship primary won by the candidate of the Rotimi Amechi's faction. But he found solace in the Social Democratic Party, SDP, who rewarded him with his governorship ticket after a standard bearer in the state quit the race voluntarily.
My appreciation and the appreciation of thousands of Rivers men and women who have joined the SDP over the last few weeks to the party for the opportunity that has been given to us to express ourselves politically in this nation. We believe that without people, a party is just a building and a flag. It's the people that make the party. And with the kind of influx of people that we're having into the SDP, it is clear that it is the emerging political force in the politics of Rivers State.
National Chairman of the SDP, Shehu Gabam, says the party is accommodating people with proven integrity if denied platform to aspire for political offices despite their track record of performance and surplus leadership credentials.
We have not made mistake, standing with the people of Rivers State. We have opened the space deliberately to ensure that credible people that matters, that believe in society, believe in the welfare of society, are given space in the political landscape of Nigeria. I've been to Rivers several times, and I know the candidate for years, for a very, very long time. We've been together in PDP, right from the scratch. They have served River diligently. They have served the country as senator very diligently. So you have a track record, and there's no party that will not be proud to have you.
The party and its governorship candidate in Rivers State are optimistic that the people of the state are yearning for alternative candidates who will take them out of their current situation, irrespective of political party affiliation. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. The news continues after this break. Stay with us.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now, recap of our top stories. 5 more victims of AK9 Kaduna-Abuja train regained their freedom on Tuesday. And NDLEA busts clandestine methamphetamine production lab in Lagos and Anambra. And moving on to other news now, the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Mohammed Bello, has reopened the popular Millennium Park 2 years after its closure due to the outbreak of COVID-19 in 2020. The park, which was closed down at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, was developed and donated to the residents of the FCT some years ago by a private company. The minister lamented that almost 95% of the parks in Abuja have totally derailed from the FCTA park policy. He appealed to the media and the public to support the FCTA's administration towards rediscovering Abuja and urged those opposing the FCTA park policy to have a rethink and support the administration in the journey to transform all parks. The chairman of Adavi local government area of Kogi State, Honorable Joseph Umuya Salami, has uncovered the parents of the baby dumped in the streets of Ogaminana a few days ago and reunited him with his family. It was uncovered by Daily Trust that the biological parents of the week-old baby dumped him on the street, but with the help of community leaders, concerned citizens, security agencies, and intelligence reports, the parents were identified. According to a statement by the Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to Adavi local government, the chairman, who earlier agreed to adopt the baby through the Social Welfare Department, invited both parents to discuss whether they would want to keep the baby or not. The parents were sorry for abandoning the baby and decided they wanted to keep the child. The statement added further that after a joint decision between the executive chairman and the Social Welfare Department of Adavi local government, the child was given back to the parents. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has ended a week-long awareness campaign against online trafficking in persons and the use of technology by traffickers to recruit victims. This year's theme focused on the role of technology as a tool that can both enable and impede human trafficking.
The awareness campaign kicked off on the 26th of July with an expose on recent methods adopted by traffickers to lure victims for the purposes of organ harvesting, sexual exploitation, and forced labor. Director General NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi, said there had been a rise in the use of social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and others for the recruitment of victims of trafficking. The event is attended by different foreign missions in Nigeria, NGOs partnering with NAPTIP, security agencies, and students in some tertiary institutions in the country. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, here represented, congratulated NAPTIP and other stakeholders on the milestone achieved so far, adding that fighting human trafficking is a collective responsibility.
The day is set aside specially to raise awareness on the agony of human trafficking victims, promote and protect the rights of such victims, and mobilize political will and resources to address trafficking in persons as a problem of global concern.
The Vice President also speaks about 3 policy documents that will serve and stir important conversations and reduce cases of human trafficking in Nigeria. Track. A participant who is also the Executive Director of Women Trafficking and Child Labor Eradication Foundation, WATCLAF, Imabong Ladipo Sanusi, speaks on the challenges encountered when dealing with issues of human trafficking in Nigeria.
I'm certain that these policy documents will continue to set the agenda on important conversations and to streamline activities towards the interruption and reversal of human trafficking.
We've heard so much that parents, guardians, and families even sell off properties to make sure that their victims, their children, go out of the country. They don't know what they go through. They don't understand that where they are going, the grass is never green. On the other side, it is green where you water it. The issue of coming back with mental health problems and become dysfunctional. That is very painful.
This year's theme focuses on the role of technology as a tool that can both enable and impede human trafficking. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, 16 persons were said to have died, while 5 others injured in a ghastly auto crash that occurred in the early hours of Tuesday morning at Ekpe area of Lagos State. The fatal crash involved 2 vehicles, a white bus and an articulated truck. It was learned that the bus allegedly rammed into the articulated truck from behind around 3 a.m. due to poor visibility. The sector commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Lagos Command, Corps Olusegun Ogunwebili, who confirmed the crash, blamed it on recklessness on the part of the drivers. Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says it has identified 233 local government areas in 32 states and the FCT that have been predicted to experience flooding in 2022. Mustafa Ahmed, Director General of the agency, disclosed this at a national consultative workshop on 2023 flood preparedness, mitigation and response organized by the agency on Tuesday in Abuja. Ahmed, who said the workshop was one of the steps outlined by the agency to bring stakeholders together, added that it was also to collectively prepare and provide strategies to strengthen flood risk mitigation and effective response. He added that the state emergency management agencies as well as local emergency management committees must be proactive to ensure effective and efficient flood preparedness, mitigation and response. The presidency has intervened in the controversy raging between the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation Limited over the dwindling fortune of the Naira. The CBN on Friday blamed the non-remittance of dollars to foreign reserves by the NNPC as the reason for the plunge of the Naira in the official and parallel markets. At the time of the allegation, the Naira traded for 700 Naira to a dollar at the parallel market and 415 Naira to a dollar at the official market. But in what could be seen as contradicting the CBN claim, a document from the NNPC on Sunday showed that the company remitted a total of $2.7 billion into its accounts with the CBN from January to June this year. Financial experts and some Nigerians were taken aback at the counterclaims by the federal government institutions, with some of them describing the development as an embarrassment to the country. And now for a look at the foreign scene, where Russia's Supreme Court on Tuesday declared Ukraine's Azov Regiment a terrorist organization, paving the way for the unit's captured fighters to be tried in Russian courts and potentially face lengthy prison terms. The Russian Supreme Court handed down the ruling in a closed session. It was the court's third attempt to declare the regiment terrorists after previous hearings were postponed in May and June. Moscow has regularly decried the Azov battalion for its past extremist right-wing links, using it to justify its invasion of Ukraine that the Kremlin calls a denazification of Kiev this year. The battalion, formed in 2014 as a far-right volunteer paramilitary unit fighting against pro-Moscow separatists in eastern Ukraine, but was later reformed and integrated into Ukraine's National Guard. And finally, in sports, Taiwo Liadi has added another silver to Nigeria's medal haul at the ongoing 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Liadi, who competed in the women's 76-kilogram weightlifting event, set a new junior Commonwealth Games record to finish second behind England's Maya Layla, who set a new Commonwealth Games record in the clean and jerk with a lift of 128 kilograms. To set a junior record, Liadi lifted 120 kilograms in the clean and jerk to beat 11 other competitors to the silver medal. And that concludes Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and of course follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.